Let's see. Let's see if we get some people in here. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Frank Valkyria, welcome to the channel. I'll pretend we're starting as if this is a normal video so that the people that come after the live can still enjoy a video that won't take too long to start. So a brief recap just to make sense of what we're about to start. This is a almost 5 hours long audio that I suppose I leaked already quite a while ago, but I wasn't aware of it. And since we have been covering a lot of this trial in the last week, we also took on the challenge to go through this other audio, which when I say we took on this challenge, I really mean we took on this challenge, me and also you being there with your kindness and patience and curiosity to go and find out what other kind of madness or craziness or surreal universe can be created by the word of this woman. So here we are again, together, ready. Yesterday we did 2 lives. We reached 2 minutes and 6. 2 hours and 6. God damn it, mathematic, please. Alright, guys. So, before I started, actually, I tell you the truth, I was listening a little bit because I was afraid that there would be some empty, like too much emptiness. But actually, quite interestingly, like you will hear now with me, I will escalate pretty quickly. Like in a minute time or so, it's gonna go crazy. And then I stopped because I thought like, okay, this is the type of tea spilled that we need to witness together. So, I'm about to start in a little bit. Hey, nice to see already people joining the chat. That's pretty awesome. I actually have to find a way to see how I can do this live and also see the chat on the side. I think I have to buy one of those gadgets that allows for switching in between stuff. I'll figure it out. Now we figured out the audio at least, so you hear me stereo. And I just want to welcome everyone already in the chat. That's really lovely to see you guys. Tomorrow it's a big day. And I'm actually so incredibly curious to find out what on earth it's gonna happen for real. Today we posted some videos, like some news, also like a combination of some new pictures and memes, which it's kind of fun to do, honestly, and also to, you know, do something else. All right, I would suggest perhaps we can start, right? We can start with this audio. Some people will join in later on. Well, I think I never wrote a more accurate thumbnail ever regarding this audio. I should have said like she almost drove him to the edge, almost, because fair enough, the guy kept quite a composure, I have to say, more than I would have, honestly. So, did you check out Steven and Jason YouTube channel? Not yet. What is it, like a TV show? Ronda, there is usually a bell next to the subscribe button, and you have to select if you want all the notifications or not. It's something that can be done. There is something like, I think it's right here, and then you click the bell, and then you can do either personalize, non-notification, or you put like all notification, like something like that, and that's where you get the all notification, I think. That's how it works. Wow, we got also people from UK and Dubai, South Africa. That's pretty cool. The nice thing about South Africa that it's so far, but basically it's more or less on the same parallel, basically on the same time zone. Even though it takes like freaking 14 hours to get there. It's like Africa, like flying over Africa. It's huge. All right. Also Indonesia. Wow, that's pretty late in Indonesia. I from Antarctica. I don't know if that's true, John, but if that's true, that's the coolest thing ever, honestly. I've been close by once. We passed the Cape Horn all the way down, when you cross South America, basically Argentina. I think that's Argentina, right? The Cape Horn. And you just go around to go up. Also the Netherlands. Wow, that's pretty cool, Marcel. Nice. Hello, Astrid. Nice to see you. Yorkshire, UK. From the US. Quebec. Cairo. Wow, that's awesome, man. I love this. From Orlando. That dear from Orlando. It's like, is it from Orlando, like Orlando, Florida, or it's your name? Rural Ireland, Hawaii, Germany, Austria. Wow. From France, Kuwait, United States. I love that. Finland. Canada. We got more Northern Illinois from the US. Oh, I'm loving this, man. I'm sorry. I could just honestly, because I'm a nerd when it comes to this type of geography, and I just love the fact that we get together from so many different places. It's one of the most beautiful thing that still to this day for me. It's something that I appreciate. Like many of you, we grew up without the internet, or at least we grew up in a period where the internet was becoming something in the 90s, right? So it's safe to say that none of us has seen like a gigantic effect on our life until the end of the 90s, early 2000. I remember, I think I started to use the internet when I moved here in the Netherlands the first time in around 99, 2000, I would say 2001, 2000. So yeah, I still appreciate that. That's what I'm trying to say. And I just love that this connects us from so many places, like literally San Diego, California, Nigeria, Poland, Buffalo, New York. Hey, by the way, sorry about what happened in Buffalo. I was reading some stuff. That's really upsetting. Sorry, like really, really upsetting. I was reading some of the news. That's yeah. And my prayers goes to those people. We got Brazil in the house, of course. Thank you so much, Brazil. No, Sixth Sensei. I'm not Dutch. Sorry, I'm Italian, but I do live here. I live like close by Amsterdam. Sorry, I don't speak much Dutch. So, all right, guys. It's nice to get, a little bit of warmed up here, but now we got this audio to go. So let's go through the audio. Like I was saying in the beginning, I skipped a little bit forward, just a little bit, to see if there was any empty spot or whatever, and immediately goes a little bit crazy. So then I stopped and came online. So let's go together. Let's check this out. And yeah. I gotta make a pint of water, but I think tomorrow I'm gonna start to drink something. I don't really drink, but All right, we got a football question. Charles Bronson. No, not really. I'm not. Honestly, I'm not so much into sport in that way in general. Like, I don't follow football. I think I must be one of the only Napolitan from Naples, from the south of Italy, that it's not obsessed with football and Napoli. But you know, totally fine. I do like to work out. You know, to work out and just for the sake of do some movement and feeling better. You know. Oh man, I'm loving this. All these beautiful people from everywhere, from Texas as well, from Spain. Oh, that's great. All right, guys, let's do this. Yesterday we left at 2 hours 6 minutes. The volume up. I hope you hear me well. And as we listen, we're gonna make some commentary, even though by now, almost by default, we know. I mean, it's pretty much clear.
Because I wouldn't have enough time to get those words.
Wait, we have to go just a little bit back here.
Tell me about a fucking vodka. You know what? I win. Forget it. I don't want to fight about Australia. I don't want to talk to you about Australia.
I don't want to fight about Australia because you're wrong.
You'll never ever. We wouldn't be happy with anybody. No one's gonna make you happy. And if you run away the first sign of trouble, it's fucking different. Anytime that there's a fucking problem, you fucking run away and you make it worse and you act like there's some hierarchy, some self-righteous thing that you're just doing the big thing, the honorable thing, and walking away. You know what? I believe that horse shit. If you actually had ever done this, I need to cool down. I'm walking away. I'm not walking away from you. I want to work this out. Just give me.
There's no caption.
If you ever actually did it responsibly, I'd say, yeah, you're right. You're being the bigger person. That's not the case. You fucking run away, and there's a difference. Every time you get fucking stressed, every time I'm picking on you by having a problem with you.
Because I wouldn't have enough time to get those words with you.
Yeah.
I'm clearly on tape, fucking like just haranguing and not giving me a second to fucking speak. So I could easily say, hey,
yeah.
I need, you know.
You could try. I don't think you ever try. I can't hear it when you're running away. Not try to be insulting. I cannot talk to you. I cannot work it out. You can never work anything out. When you do that, it perpetuates it. It makes it fucking.
You are perpetuating it.
Why am I always Why am I always the one knocking on the door saying, let's stop this? That's not me. That's not me perpetuating. That's me trying to be the bigger person.
Cucumber in this fucking fight. I have tried. I've said I'm sorry. I've said I want to fucking try everything. I want to go to a fucking shrink or whatever. I've said everything. I've said, yeah, I'm wrong here, yeah, I'm wrong there. But listen.
No, you're not. I am.
Oh, sorry.
You can't decide if I say sorry too much or too little. Because I feel like you've also criticized me for saying sorry too much. I fucking apologized profusely for yesterday.
I didn't say too much. I just said, I'm sorry. The go-to thing.
It wasn't a go-to thing. I meant it.
It will become meaningless unless we say, look, here's what I was thinking. Did I fuck up? And then you say, yes, you did fuck up, and it made me feel this. And then, fuck, I'm sorry. I'm really fucking sorry. That requires some type of cool head.
Well, you do have cool hair. That's for sure.
Yes, and neither of us really have that, but at least I can calm down. At least I cool down. You don't have a cool head. You have it right now. You can't be on Xanax all the time. You definitely need it today. You can't be on it all the time. You know what I mean? You're going to have that temper back. That makes you not as calm as you are right now. I'm not zero judgment. You need to pump the brakes on actually thinking that I'm judging you just because I made a statement. I am not. There is zero judgment. I even added.
So you can't be on Xanax all the time.
You can't, but you don't take it all the time. So, but my point is, if you're calm right now, that's great and it's wonderful and you need to be, and I'm really glad you took the Xanax to help you calm
I
down.
would have to call myself.
But you can't be calm all the time. I mean, you can't be on Xanax all the time. That will help.
Oh my god. Who gave it the guy a Xanax? The guy is on a Xanax to calm down. Like, oh my god, she's complaining about it. Actually, it was very interesting what he was saying in the beginning. Like, you basically, I want to do everything you say, but you don't give me the time to respond. You literally don't give me the space to say those words to you. And she goes, I cannot hear you if you're going away. Like,
Kind of keep you calm, or maybe you are. I don't know, but it was not a judgment. That was not judgment.
No.
I own what I say. I say what I fucking mean. I don't need anyone, fucking you or anyone, putting words in my goddamn mouth. I mean what I fucking say. Do you hear me? I mean what I say. I say what I mean, and you're not gonna sit here and fucking change it for me. I'm so sick and fucking tired of you telling me all the time what I actually said and what I meant. I tell you what I mean. I had no judgment on that. That is your projection. That's you putting that shit on me. There is zero judgment there.
I bring it up.
It matters because it factors in, because it's relevant. I don't know, many of those things.
Didn't you earlier go get a propanol?
Yes, I have Panadol right here. What does that change? It changes how you react to stimuli. It keeps you calmer.
What does a propanol do?
It's supposed to slow your heart rate down. It has absolutely no psychological. No, it does not. It has zero psychological effect whatsoever. It reacts physically to the mechanisms in your brain that control your heart. That's it. It does not make me less upset. Clearly, it does not make you less. It does not affect you psychologically. It is a fact. And you should fucking know. It does not make you fucking calm, as you can clearly
If
see.
you have to go and make a fucking speech,
my god.
if you have to do this or that makes you nervous, propanolol is what they give you. Propanolol is what they give you.
No doubt.
Okay? So that's what it's for.
Thank you. I'm so glad we're talking about
It
this.
is for stress.
It does not affect you psychologically at all.
But you know,
Look it up. I don't fucking care. I won't talk about fucking it anymore. You can fucking look it up.
You don't get
It
high.
clearly doesn't work, does
You
it?
don't get high.
No, you don't. And it doesn't calm you down psychologically. It's supposed to slow your heart rate down. Clearly, it doesn't really work that well. You need a lot. It's not affecting my judgment at all. It doesn't affect how angry I am. It does not affect how passionate I am. And I was not criticizing you or judging you at all, which is why you wanted to reach for what I'm taking as a means to defend yourself. But you ignore everything I said, which is there is absolutely zero judgment on that. I was pointing out that you will not react as cool-headed as you are right now, because if anything should happen while you're not on Xanax, it could be an explosion. That's all. I was pointing out that both of us have tempers, and what will happen if you're not on Xanax and then something comes up? Will you be able to talk to yourself and reason with that inner self? That's what I was bringing up. It had no judgment on it whatsoever. I'm actually very glad you took a Xanax.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy for you. And there's zero fucking judgment. I don't need you fucking telling me what I said. I don't need your fucking goddamn projection on me. I didn't fucking go there. You fucking listen to me or not, I don't fucking care.
All right. All right. All right. All right. This deserves a pause for a moment, right? I heard just the beginning part where she was starting to go up, but I didn't hear this whole part that she's just going crazy, man. She's just losing it. Oh my word. I mean, can you imagine, like, in a real scenario where you actually afraid of your alleged abuser, right? You're in a conversation and you talking to him like this? Like, seriously? And then at the end, like, the thing that always bugs me is that she kind of insinuates that if he wasn't taking the Xanax, he could explode 2, and yet again another example of she's actually projecting. She's actually doing exactly everything of what is accusing him of doing, and you have it on audio. It's pretty spectacular. I'm not sure if they can play this part, but honestly, this part so far, there were other parts of the audio. I'm gonna clip this out because this part of the audio, I think, is one of the most powerful in regard of, this whole allegation, which absolutely debunks it, if you ask me, because there is so much anger and rage and almost flying off the handle in her voice that I think that if JD wasn't this calm so far, I don't know how he's going to respond, but, if he gets angry, I would actually kind of understand it. But let's find out. Probably not. But so far, he's keeping quite a chill demeanor, which I think it's so important because actually he's the one that is trying to de-escalate this like absurd rage of this woman. I mean, it's never ending. This is part still of the same argument that we have started in 3 lives ago. This is literally 2 hours plus in of 2 people talkings, and I'm talking like real 2 hours of an argument. I mean, I've said this yesterday. I don't know you guys, but I've never argued in my life this long, like with anyone. You know what I mean? Like an argument will end, way before the 10-minute mark or something, Like, this is truly stretching it into the realm of absurdity and like utter abuse. It's like really utter abuse and trauma that she's perpetuating on this freaking guy. Like, swear to God, I hope JD is doing well. I've said this today in the other video we did. We give it for granted, but he was also lucky to make it out of this alive. A lot of rock stars, a lot of people in the industry, which they take prescribed medications and they drink and they do other stuff, they lost their lives by accidentally getting a heart attack or whatever. So JD, I think we are lucky that it didn't happen, but I'm pretty sure there must have been moments which they would have been like maybe just few steps away from that from happening to happen. You know what I mean? So it's just amazing. It's just amazing also that he's fine.
I'm just gonna walk away for a minute, okay?
All right, they're coming down. You see JD just not responding. Oh, there is a little bit of all of a sudden there is a little, yeah. You see, like, she went nuts and JD did not respond to it, which so far is doing the right thing. And JD is just lighting up something, you see? Oh man, like I said today, I feel so happy that this guy made it through this, because obviously with his own issues of self-medicating, prescribed drugs, alcohol, and perhaps heavier stuff, it was really a train heading to collision. Honestly, when you look at this now with those eyes, now that we have this window into their lives, into this period, it's absolutely was absolutely a possibility that this was heading in that catastrophic direction and likely did not happen. You know, JD was already a man in his 50s, and by abusing himself like this, truly could have been just a few steps away from an accidental heart attack, you know, or drug overdose or overdosing on something. So yeah, likely he's out of this, and hopefully this whole thing will not have an effect or relapses or whatever, you know. I mean, yeah. I wonder if this is the part where he starts to play the guitar, because like I said, I did other audios, so then maybe those audios are also part of this, and I don't know. We'll find out anyway. But that clip, that part where she just literally losing it, I'm actually surprised she didn't slap him or something, you know what I mean? Or maybe we don't see what happened anyway, you know. Maybe she, I don't know, she did something, she threw something. But it is pretty scary, man. It is pretty scary. Okay, let's try to skip a little bit further. Perhaps we'll see if we get... let's see if there is him playing the guitar.
In the relationship,
Here we go.
with you, yet you don't.
Yeah, that's also true. She's recording this, and even if they're both aware of it, I think she stopped just in time.
I want to trust you, and I feel like all the trust is gone. All the fucking trust is gone in the relationship because you keep splitting. We fight together, but you're the only one who splits, and I want that back.
We fight together, you're the only one that splits. It's still a mystery to me what she tries to get out of him with this statement, you know? All the trust is gone.
Maybe
I mean,
maybe there's nothing to talk about. But I did come over here with enough love in my heart and sincerity to say to you that all the things I said, which now I meant them. You know, I fucking meant them. Even though you fucking split, didn't come home. You know, I still did that. I fucking have shown myself, I've proven myself, I've fought for you, I've showed up.
I'm not gonna be in physical fucking altercation.
Then don't.
You fucking hit me last night. You fucking...
here we go. I'm not gonna be in a physical fight. Let's listen to this again. I don't want to be in a physical fight. And then he goes like, you hit me last night.
Said, which now I meant them. You know, I fucking meant them. Even though you fucking split, didn't come home. You know, I still did that. I fucking have shown myself, I've proven myself, I've fought for you, I've showed up.
I'm not gonna be in physical fucking altercation.
Don't. Then don't.
You fucking hit me last night. You fucking...
Well, all the other times you split. Come on, you cannot act like that. It's about that. It's
Well,
not.
on a personal chance.
No, and you hit back. So don't act like you don't fucking participate.
Push you.
I'm not going to get into the details of that fight. You and I both know that you split when there is no physical violence. And that you do it like at the very beginning of fights these days. And if you split and you go into the room and you don't actually leave that house, it does nothing but perpetuate the fight. And you don't actually do it respectfully. You don't do it in a way that actually means we won't fight. It always makes more fights. It always makes them longer. It never, ever makes you calmer. You never come out going, I want to talk, or I'm okay, or it's going to be okay. And I am I'm sick and tired 100% of being the only one that goes into that sport. You know what that does? It demoralizes the half of this relationship that is me. It demeans me. Demoralizes me.
Wow.
Yes, really. Really, when you split on me, how do you feel when I leave you? I've left you before. You leave.
Wow, this is still part of the same argument. Can you imagine? Just can you imagine being with somebody like this? Still talking about this bleeding and all this freaking nonsense that she's like decorating around this? Like all those senseless words. She just sticks around an argument that has no beginning, no end, no head, no tail. I mean, what you want the men to do? Like, you want to fight. I mean, I swear to the universe, this woman, it's the type of woman that she finds another hothead like her, or another freaking crazy, like somebody that it's a little bit unhinged. I'm almost pretty sure they'll end up killing each other, because she seemed like a person that she wants to be hit. That she wants to be hit somehow in a very sadistic way, and that probably, most likely, if she gets hit, she's gonna hit back without restraint, and somebody's gonna get hurt, like for real hurt. So, I mean, like when I hear this and I suspect that behavior, I mean, honest to God, I'm afraid to the next person that gets entangled with this woman. You know, like this guy, it's a freaking saint. Like, this truly could have escalated in something potentially like life-threatening. And it actually did, even though JD is so calm, because he lost his finger and he got MRSA twice, like an infection that could have made him paralyzed or lose his finger or even an arm or something, you know? So, wow.
How you get another room, you get a flight, things like that. And you asked me not to in Australia, and ever since then,
How many?
I don't know, I have to count them up.
No, because I haven't left you in that house maybe twice. Last night,
No, you've done it before, I've come here.
Irina, thank you for the super chat, and I also agree with you. I agree with you, but luckily nowadays, you know, there is much more openness to it. I don't feel like close towards women coming forward for domestic abuse. Matter of fact, actually, if anything, this example should teach more people in general, female and male, to whatever gender, to come forward whatever there is an abuse. 100%.
I'm not doing that. You've done this several times, and getting me a room, getting another room in a hotel is just the same thing. You text Steven or Nathan in Toronto to see if they get another room. It's chronic. It happens all the time. And if you do it to go into another room, you do it and you get dressed.
You were fucking screaming.
You were swinging at me.
I'm going to validate my actions last night. I feel very...
This I have already heard, I think, but it's nice to put this into context. Now we're live anyway, so it's fine. So you were swinging at me, and she goes like, "I'm not going to validate my action last night or whatever," you know. That, wow.
No, I'm talking to Toronto.
I did not start screaming until you had fucking said all this shit. You poke an animal enough, it is eventually, doesn't matter how friendly it is, how cool. I stayed cool for so long, and you kicked and kicked and kicked. So I have not done this to you. I have not said these things to you. I have not started the fight by saying I'm gonna get another room, and I'm not gonna sit here and fight about fucking Toronto anymore. Guess what? I let it go. I'm not fucking talking about Toronto. I can yell it. I can whisper it, I can write it. Guess what? I'm not saying another fucking word about Toronto. I'm so sick and tired of fucking fighting about old things. This is not about a fight. This is broad.
Wow.
This is a broad thing. And I'm telling you, every single time you get dressed and you fucking split at the top of a fight, you never fucking tell me you're not, you never fight for me, you never come to me, you never self-calm, you never self-soothe, you're never the one to throw the olive branch. I'm sick and tired of it, it needs to fucking change. And you can go, I can't meet those demands, I can't do it, or you can fucking promise me so I have a modicum of safety, I feel a modicum of respect, a little tiny sliver of fucking, like, you are in this whether it is good or bad. Whether it is good or bad, down and up, lows and highs, tough and easy, Not just when it's easy. I feel like you're a fucking vacation husband. You are so there when it's good. You're so there when it's easy. The second it gets hard, you question it. Last night, I am just as guilty. I give you that. But I have been primed and conditioned. At this point, I thought I'd never get over Toronto. It hurt so bad. I got fucked over so bad, and I did not do anything like that. I didn't stoop down at all. Absolutely. I wish it had caught everything too.
Why don't you send me the fucking recording?
Sure will. I don't know how else to say I will to you. Hasn't really been a kind of safe environment now, has it? So if I'm looking to stoke a fire, yeah, okay. I haven't, because we have not been well. We have not been good. And when I fucking move out, if I move out, then you'll have them, and you can fucking relish them. You won't fucking like it, what you hear. Won't make you happy.
This we heard already. I must have done another video. But again, like some of you pointed out yesterday, like you see how she's doing this whole salad thing, and at the same time she's threatening him to leave. You know, because probably that's already in the planning. And I think, again, she's talking about the audios that he wants to hear, if I'm not mistaken. Sometimes it's really hard to keep track with all this audio, but I have to admit that to listen to the whole thing from the beginning, it gives a lot more context, and you also understand much more the truth or what they exchange about those incidents which have happened, you know?
But you hear what I'm telling you.
She's really upset about Toronto.
Good. It hasn't really been a safe environment now, has it? You act like you're fucking on something when I haven't, sent you this. Like, well, we'll send it to you. Get this. It hasn't been good. It's been a little tough.
Wow.
Was it tough? All I've been trying to do is be with you, spend time with you. You said you needed that. You said that it made a difference more than you wanted to travel with you. You said our relationship would be different. That was after Toronto.
Yeah, but that's when we came back here.
I know where we were.
Toronto, Boston, here.
I know where we were. We've been on the road basically since Australia, and I have been at your side. And I have not been feeling
We
anything.
were on our honeymoon. I hope we were.
I'm not talking about just a honeymoon. Now am I? I'm talking about many months. And was it all the honeymoon? No. I have been at your side throughout it all. You said, why did you come to Rio? And I answered you.
Man, I was thinking the same thing. I mean, like, wow, if this woman really has all these problems of personality disorders and stuff, like, of course, I don't think you can stigmatize everything. There must be a spectrum for each of those things. So I don't want to stigmatize by anybody by saying this. But if she's, let's say, on a spectrum of each of those illnesses or diagnosed illnesses, mental problems, if she's on the spectrum, let's say more aggravated or like higher in the spectrum, I do wonder how good it is for her to have a child. Like, wow. I mean,
We'd love for it to be better. I have no fucking consistency, no safety, no security. The relationship is something you don't fight for, you don't stand up for, you always run from when it's tough. I'm telling you, I need more. We didn't say vows. You didn't make them exactly in the same, in that way, But now is the fucking time. I need to know if you're going to be there. I want promises. I told you that at the beginning of this conversation. I need promises that you're going to fucking be there. I need promises that this is important to you. Not when it's easy, when it's hard too. This is something you'll fight for. That this is something that's sacred, that neither of us throw out every fight. I can't be the only one to hold the promises. I was in Toronto and it fucked me over. I can't be the only one. You can't be the only one. If I split on you, all those times that I thought about doing it would not be here. And I stayed, and it's tougher. That's stronger. I'm stronger. It is easy to run. It is easy
to run away from problems. It is easy to take that out and say, well, that's the easiest, that's the best, safest, that's the safest way out. I'm not saying we should get in physical altercations. I never want to be in that. Never. But every time you don't like what I say and you fucking run away, will never work out anything. You can't run away every fight.
Woman, are you supposed to work out something? How? How you're supposed to work out something if you don't listen? A prerequisite for working on something is to listen as well.
You can't. It's easy. It's not brave. It's not strong. It's harder to say to somebody, I want to work this out. I want to face what I have. I want to face what you have. I want to work it out with you. You're not working it out. You're running away, and then you make me be the bigger person every single time and come to you and knock on the door and come to this house and say, hey, we're married. It's supposed to be sacred. Calm down, calm down. Yes, by default, if you're never the one to do it, one of us is, and I'm the one to do it every time. It means I'm the bigger person every time. It means I have to be the strong one. It means every time I have to fight for our relationship, and you get to be lazy. You get to be cowardly. I don't know what it is.
You get to be lazy. You get to be cowardly. Oh man, I mean, I remember this part of the audio, but still, every time you hear it, and again, when you hear the whole 2.5 hours so far, this is literally the definition of insanity.
Once again, I am fighting for the relationship. I want
the guy that you don't fucking trust or like.
I did not say I didn't love you. I love you. You're my favorite person in the world. I remember what I said at the beginning. I'm sorry you feel like you can't imagine it. But I said this to you at the beginning of this conversation. I said, you're my favorite person in the whole world. If you weren't the most magnetic, shiny, beautiful, interesting.
You were the most magnetic, shiny, beautiful, interesting. Oh, for crying out loud. I'm not even a native speaker, and I know a few more extra words if I have to, give somebody adjectives, or something.
Dynamic person I had ever met in my life. It would be so easy to walk away from this bratty thing that you do.
Untrustworthy.
Did you hear what I just said? I said I can't trust him. I can't trust him. That's not meaning you're untrustworthy. It means
that's exactly what it means. That's exactly what it means. He's telling you, I'm trustworthy. I'm worthy of your trust. I'm worthy of trust. I'm somebody you can trust on. Right? That's clear. And you're literally saying, no, that's not what I'm saying. I cannot trust you. Oh, good mother of the universe.
Situation, and I'm telling you what you do to create it too. We've created a situation in which there cannot, trust can't grow. It's like it's trampled every single time, and we need a marriage. That's why I sat down. Do you not remember me sitting down at the very beginning of this conversation and saying just that to you? Say, I know you got married for security and for safety. So did I. We did not get married because it was something that we're doing, because it was something we could walk away. We wanted the foundation. No? Yes, but you could just have me as your girlfriend if you didn't want the foundation. And you told me, and maybe you go back on it now. Fine, okay, cool. Lie about that. I don't know. You told me you wanted a foundation. You told me you wanted the security. You wanted the safety. You liked the foundation. At the beginning, you said, I really like having that. It feels safe. So don't argue with me when I say it now.
I'm not arguing.
Oh, yeah, but you had...
I'm not arguing with that. Oh man, I love the reply of JD. Like, he's such a kind man, and still through this whole turmoil, I love how he speaks so little, and every time he's speaking the truth and making sense, and agreeing, trying to make things better. Nothing that this guy does in the conversation, it's conducive of believing that he can be violent. This guy is so nice. Unbelievable. It's even too nice. I swear, I lost the patience already, I don't know how many times. It is true that I'm from south of Italy, but woman, please.
saying because I love you and you're my wife. I want you to be my wife. That's putting me apart.
No.
How do I put you apart?
I don't want to do this. I don't want to fight about a fight. I don't want to fight about the semantics. I don't want to fight.
When I come up with a point and you can't answer it, you don't want, suddenly you don't want to answer it.
What am I not answering? Because I don't want to fight about this new thing? No, I don't want to.
When
I
you're
said you
busy
wanted to
with the
take me
current
away,
fight.
You stopped me, you interrupted me, and then you said, what? Because no, because I wanted to have you as my equal.
You asked me, right? I said, right.
I meant you interjected. I meant you said. You said. How about that? See, now, is this better? I answered you. I addressed what you're saying. Now, can we please not fight about that?
And I said, because I love you.
You said
Because I
love.
love you.
Talking about why you love.
My whole point, I don't know, an issue is that you love me. Yes, you marry me though because you want some safety, some security, some stability, a foundation. Now, if you take issue with that, okay, take issue with it. But if you agree, then you agree. That's who you were when you married me.
Yes, but the only thing that's missing is with you. I wanted those things with you.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
what I was trying to say.
Me
I
too.
love you and I wanted to marry you for that, for our love, for the security, for the foundation. For, yes, of course. But you left it for you.
I'm sorry.
There must have been a moment where this relationship was starting well, you know, like there was some kind of semblance of affection and all those things that perhaps has driven JD to romanticize this vision of her and having this kind of more like romantic idea of this person, or romanticizing the beginning of this relationship that then changed quite rapidly and they never became that any longer. And I think JD was so desperately trying to probably relieve this beginning part. So that's probably the part where he made the mistake. You know, he made the mistake of believing and romanticizing this relationship too much, because maybe there was something good. Maybe in the beginning it did work. And yeah, I don't know exactly how it looked, but that's the only thing I can think of when I see him trying so desperately, you know, still to this moment, even after Australia. Keep in mind that this guy has gone already through a lot of shit with this woman, including losing a part of his finger, and he's still talking like this. So to me, tells me that somehow he harbored some shred of hope that whatever he felt in the beginning or he saw in the beginning in this person would come back. And obviously it's not.
I mean that. Of course I do. Of course I want that with you. It's why I married you. But I need the safety, I need the security, I need the boundaries, and I think you... Could you not agree?
I need the same things.
So I...
When you start flipping out, and I can't get a word in, and it's you know, manic and angry. What the fuck, Amber?
I get angry. I'm human. This is the kind of situation where one gets angry.
Okay, but you can't provoke anger in me then. If I just
I can't control that.
But
If I'm angry.
Just try. Let's both try. If there's anger, if there's something fucking really fucking poking us in the ass, let's try.
I disagree with some comments that I read before regarding, you know, like they're both crazy and they both know they're being recorded, so they're acting. I disagree, because if you understand anything about acting, you also understand that acting a lot of time requires to play a different character. So you kind of dive into this character that you're playing. And a lot of times your voice, your manners, your gesturing, and everything changes. When you hear the voice, I think you can hear more clearly that every now and then she remembers that she's being recorded, she's recording, and she's trying to drive the conversation where she wants. But JD seems pretty himself. The way you hear other time, like mellow, relaxed, soft. There is not an inflection in his voice that makes you believe that it's playing a character or is in any character. So I definitely don't agree with that. And also keep in mind that those recordings were made most likely with intent of doing some kind of therapy. And I've said this before, most likely she convinced him to do this so that they could work, maybe listen to it again and do some kind of, marriage couple counseling therapy using those audios. I do believe most likely that she was already soiling the terrain for the future for other purposes, using those audios in a different way. So keep also that in mind.
Try not to fucking fight. Try to address it without jumping down each other's throats, because all that's going to do is build a mountain of fucking resentment, some species of fucking hatred within the love, and totally fucking mistrust, because you say you don't trust me. I get it, okay. I'm flake, I'm a this, I'm a that.
I didn't
all
say
right.
as a person. I was speaking specifically about this. I don't trust the marriage. I don't trust you. I don't feel safe with it because you always fucking bail on it.
Well, then
That's sick.
I don't know,
I want the trust back. You can deflect all you want, say it's my fault, say how dare I get angry at you ever, whatever. I'm telling you.
As much as you don't like that shit in your marriage, I don't like the guff that you put on me in our marriage. And if it causes distrust in me, it causes distrust in me. Yeah.
I don't know how
I
to
don't
help
know.
you. I don't know what
And
the thing
sometimes
is.
I don't want to fucking be there and go through the shit. I don't, man. I don't.
I know.
I don't want to, because I don't want to fucking fight.
But it doesn't have to be one. It's not like I'm saying, hey, choose fight.
You just said I get mad, I'm gonna scream.
No, I didn't say that's always the case. I said, yeah, I'm mad. It happens. It happens.
Yes, I know. It happens often.
I love it. It happens often. Like, I love the truth that he speaks. Like, I mean, this is already so incredibly accurate, if you ask me. So incredibly accurate depiction of this whole thing.
The things that are wrong are repeating themselves, and they happen often. If you think I'm some fucking tyrant or bully, then don't fucking be with me. But don't sit here and insult me like I'm the fuck up because I have the audacity to get
saying
mad.
that I'm the tyrant and the bully and at the same time the
I have called
guy
you
that
a
runs
bully, yeah.
away and
You run away every single fight.
Okay, so I mean, then what are you?
I'm not
doing
lying
with me?
about it.
Then what are you doing with me?
I already answered that. We went through this conversation literally 5 minutes ago. I answered this already 5 minutes ago.
You just said to me that I shouldn't be with you.
No, I said if
That's
you.
what I feel.
No, I said if I'm some, harping bully, which is what you make me sound like. Like I'm like
Harping bully, which is what you make me sound like. What? It really has no say in that. Really. You're really doing fine on your own, achieving that objective, to be fair.
constantly on you, making you feel bad. That's because that's what I do. And then you ignore everything. You take me for granted. You're ignoring everything that I do for you. You make me sound terrible. You talk about me in a terrible way. You do not fight for me. And then you want to sit here and make me sound so terrible to be around. You don't. Everything I've already explained.
No.
10 minutes before.
No, fight for you. I don't understand.
You never, ever
Me
do
neither.
the work. Put in the work. If we're arguing about something, you don't ever try to get to the bottom of it and figure out, make the peace. You want to make it easy on you, so you split. You don't fight for me. You don't fight when there's a problem. You don't come to me. You don't make peace with me. You never extend an olive branch. You're never the bigger guy. You're never the one that's like, okay, I'm going to put my own feelings aside for a second and say, this is bigger than us. Let's stop fighting. You never are the one to come and knock on my door. You take me for granted.
It's not true. It's not true. I'm not the one.
I will not take you for granted. I will take you for a walk, and I will come back alone. That's what I would do.
Who fucking throws
Kidding.
fucking pots and
Those are different.
whatever
That's
the
different.
fucking else at me.
That's different. That's one does not negate the other. That's irrelevant. It's a complete non sequitur. Just because I've thrown pots and pans does not mean that you come and knock on the door. Just because.
Just because I throw pots and pans. Oh, yeah, of course. Just because I make a mess, I throw stuff that potentially can harm you or like even kill you, that doesn't mean I'm wrong. Doesn't mean I'm a bad person. Eh? What makes you think that? Just because I set fire to your villa somewhere doesn't mean that I'm a bad person. Just because I drove off the neighbor cats doesn't make me a bad person. Just because I had some bleach in his drink last night doesn't make me a bad person.
Because there are vases does not mean that you come and knock on the door.
Really, I should just let you throw.
I'm not saying that. You're saying that. You're putting words in my mouth and then making non sequiturs.
I'm giving you a situation.
No, you're trying to justify how you don't or do come to the door
No,
based
I'm
on whether I throw
justifying-
pots and pans. It's irrelevant.
No, I'm justifying how you seem to think that there's this cowardice in me that runs away and I don't fight for you.
Yeah.
And you're justifying that by saying I throw pots and pans? Okay, cool. Let's
No,
talk about everything you do wrong.
I'm not the one who fucking did that. I didn't.
So that makes sense. That's clear. Yeah.
The only time I ever threw anything at you was when you fucking threw the cans at me in Australia.
Why are you trying to justify who throws things based on
Because
whether or not you come knocking on the door? I don't
Because
get why
that is a
one
fucking
informs the other.
irrational and violent fucking maneuver.
How
So
does
a
one
man would
inform
want
the
to
other?
get out of that area so that he doesn't get so fucking angry that he actually does pop the fucking wife.
Yeah. I mean, how well did he explain himself? How eloquent and clear, even though probably was an Xanax, you want this to be explained to you. I mean, he's even admitting that probably threw something back because he received probably several attacks of those cans or whatever mineral cans in Australia, and bought a vodka bottle that chopped his finger off. So there's just so much you can take. And it's so funny because as soon as he mentions that, she immediately tries to cut him off, talk over him, you know, to deflect this truth, this information that now we understand. We the more audio we listen to, we hear, the better the whole picture becomes. I'm actually so upset that in the trial they played from an audio in Australia only the part where the I think Sussex or like the British security, the one that has the Scottish, I think it's a Scottish accent. His British security came in to pick him up and take him away from the circumstance, and you hear JD just screaming, like shouting in the stairs, really upset. You know, I think he calls her the C word, but you know, probably the guy was so freaking mad after all that happened in the room that you know, it's also understandable that he was like shouting something, you know. But still, now you hear this and the picture becomes so much more clear of who is responsible for what. But in the trial, they just played their little snippet which tries to incriminate JD to make him look like he's a monster shouting. You know, that's pretty messed up, actually.
How does one inform the other?
Oh, man. Go home and listen to the tape. Please. That's what they're for.
Yes.
You see, go home and go listen to the tape. That's what they're for. Oh, man, JD kills me.
You listen to the fucking tape.
Oh, I'm gonna.
So will I. I'm not going to sit here and promise you I'll never get mad at you or that you'll never fuck up. I know you want to live in a world where everyone just says yes to you and doesn't question you or criticize you ever.
Don't insult me like that, please.
But that's not the case. It's not why you're with me. I am honest with you. I'm sorry. You don't want to be held accountable. I get it. No one really does.
You're so honest with me.
Well, that's your...
Watching you live in front of Travis last night really is
that's your problem, and that's your whole thing that you've...
Like, wow. This I remember. I think we already covered this, though. I didn't know it was part of this, you know. Now we know where this is coming. Again, she's just going around in circles. And he goes like, you know, I'm not so sure that you're really honest with me. I saw you yesterday night lie in front of me, you know, and instead of admitting to that, she's again blaming him. No, it's your problem, you know, that's your perception.
Created.
That's my problem, but my problem is that you don't trust me.
No, I don't trust you in this.
What's going on in there, man?
I don't trust you.
I love it. Oh man, like I want to listen to this again. JD just kills me when you have some like deep moment of lucidity. He goes like, and you have a problem with me? What the hell is happening in that head, basically? Oh man, we are asking the same question, JD.
I am honest with you. I'm sorry. You don't want to be held accountable. I get it. No one really does.
You're so honest with me.
Well, that's your...
Watching you live in front of Travis last night really is
that's your problem, and that's your whole thing that you've created.
That's my problem, but my problem is that you don't trust me.
No, I don't trust you in this.
What's going on in there, man?
I don't trust you in this, and I want the trust back.
You don't trust me in our marriage? Well, what is everything we're talking about? Our marriage.
Tell me, if you want to stop talking...
You're saying you don't
then
trust me
just tell
personally?
Me, you just
or
tell
you don't
me
trust me in the marriage? What I don't understand what's so different. Tell me the difference, please.
I think I have in the last few hours, no?
No, I think you could probably explain it to me a little better. I'm slow.
You want to keep being an asshole?
Do I want to keep being an asshole?
Stop the attitude.
It's a redundant question.
Stop the attitude.
I should stop the attitude. Okay, sure, no problem.
Stop.
No problem.
Wow.
So I'm not going to sit here and go over every fight we've had. I'm not going to refight this fight. You have something you're holding on to about Travis. Go fuck. You know, go do it. Go run away together. I don't know what you're fucking holding on to, but you have created that. I have no part of that. I don't know what you're fucking latched onto in your brain, what stray hairs have fucking commingled and tangled in your brain to make you think you've really figured some sort of thing out. But this is not unusual for you. It's like almost every fight I can pretty much guarantee you will find something that you can like manipulate
let's
and twist
ask Travis
into something.
tonight. If you
Yes, why don't
told
we
him-
invite Travis into our fucked up, broken ass, 3 fucking wheeled truck of a marriage? Why don't we crash it straight into the wall, because no one knows us better than fucking Travis.
You're just afraid that the truth will come out.
What truth?
That you lied.
What are you fucking talking about? I didn't fucking even have a fucking thing to lie about. What are you fucking talking about? Every fucking fight, there's a new thing that you've convinced yourself is a lie.
I said...
Wow, look at the gaslighting, man. It's really, really frightening, man. It's really frightening. Every time she comes back with nothing, he spits out facts. She comes back with nothing. Being vague, it's her weapon, raising the voice, just beating around the bushes and bringing nothing to the table. She has some phrases that she likes to repeat. She's incapable of being coherent. Any argument will focus on something. So far, I don't hear nothing. I hear like those kind of like pseudo spiritual words, which probably they go around a lot in LA, of you know, like trust and whatever she's on. But even that, it's not very clear what she's on about. And it renders you like numb after a while, you know, because you're literally just fighting against a rubber wall, you know, that there's no way. Like you try to get something in, it just bounces off, it doesn't go through, it just doesn't work. Like you can spend whatever energy and intellect and patience and logic on this person, she's just, you know, everything you say is just bouncing off. It just doesn't reach her. It's like maddening, you know?
To you. Amber, tell Travis what you just did. Did you just fucking... did you punch me in the fucking jaw? Did you fucking kick... Did you? Did you? And you wouldn't say a fucking... I don't know what you're talking about.
Lied.
It never fucking...
I see the
never
lie.
Never fucking happened.
I see the lie. You really should run with this. In fact, maybe you and Travis can, like, go and, like, you know, do a tell-all about what a...
Hey,
what, you know, an investigative
study.
study.
Stop with the attitude, right?
Sorry.
Stop with the attitude.
Sorry.
You're getting all bunched up.
Sorry. Sorry.
So smart that she says sorry to because she knows him really well. So she says sorry, like she knows the moment also when to calm down, so she can deflect from the argument of saying more about the incident that Travis was in the middle and she punched him in the jaw, because that's what we hear and that's exactly what happened. And most likely it's also referring to when he was accused of throwing her sister down the stairs, which probably never happened, most likely never happened, and this is what happened. This is what happened.
I don't... It's so fucking pointless, and you know it, to sit here and fight about fucking... whatever you think happened with Travis. That wasn't a conversation.
Listen,
we were
I was
fighting.
not high.
I'm not going to...
You lied. You're an asshole.
You were fucking full of shit. What
Lied,
lie?
you asshole.
When? What conversation did I have with Travis? Big investigative study you've done. I'm not sitting here and fighting with you about the fight that we had last
After you
night.
got physically violent with me, I texted Travis. I said, come up here.
I
Because
know.
I didn't want anything to happen.
I mean, yeah.
Come to what? Save me?
No, go ahead. Continue. You Travis to the rescue.
No, that was the last one. You can go, you go.
Okay.
We heard this already in the other hour.
Oh yeah, you called me a liar, and yet
I watched you lie.
you called me a liar.
I watched you lie.
You're full of shit. There's no what. You still haven't told me what lie it is. But yet every single fucking time, you know you do this every single fucking time. I'm not fucking talking to.
Look at this. Like, she doesn't let him speak. She doesn't let him, even if he wants to repeat, you know, even if he wants to. Like, I've done this audio already, but now we're running. Let's run. And actually, it's also interesting for me because in the contest, I understand much more. I understand much more about the chronology of the incidents, the alleged abuse. And actually, I understand way more just by listening to the tone of her voice and their dynamic. Actually, to me at least, I'm not an expert. I don't claim to be. But I listen to this and to me it's clear, the dynamic. To me, the dynamic is pretty clear. I don't see some kind of hidden mechanism of, like obscure kind of a mental disease that JD has that will, I don't know, maybe a psychiatrist knows, that will make him a monster or will make him like the manipulator or the abuser. Through their voice, through their energy that I perceive in their voice, to me it's very clear who is the liar and actually who is the abused and who is trying to make things work and who is not.
Nobody. Fuck that. You go fucking jerk him off. I don't care. I really could care less. It's you every single time. You latch onto some sort of thing. When I already told you, I don't know what you're fucking talking about. You don't even know what you're talking about. You still haven't even told me what it is. But run with it. Run with it.
I told you what it is.
No, you haven't.
I said to Travis, I said to you, hey, tell Travis what just happened.
You told me to do it. You told me to. You said, go do that.
I said, no, tell him what just happened.
And I lied.
And that you punched me in the
You're right.
fucking thing. And
You figured it out.
And you said, no, I didn't. What the fuck are you talking about? And I
didn't
watched
punch
you lie. And then
I didn't punch you, by the way. I'm sorry
Right.
that I didn't hit you across the face in a proper slap, but I was hitting you. It was not punching you. Babe, you're not punched.
Don't tell me what it feels like to be punched.
You know, you've been in a lot of fights. You've been around a long time. I know. Yeah.
No, when you fucking have a close
You
fist.
didn't get punched. You got hit. I'm sorry I hit you like this, but I did not punch you. I did not fucking deck you. I fucking was hitting you. I don't know what the motion of my actual hand was, but you're fine. I did not hurt you. I did not punch you. I was hitting you.
How are your toes?
What am I supposed to do? Do this?
How are your
I'm
toes?
not sitting here bitching about it, am I? You are.
Oh,
That's the difference between me and you. You're a fucking baby.
Because you start.
You are such a baby. Grow the fuck up,
Because you
Johnny.
start physical fights.
I did start a physical
Yeah,
fight.
you did. So I had
Because-
to get the fuck out of there.
Wow, you do realize, right? Now we have listened to this. We have listened to this in excerpt of audio, right? But this deserve a moment of acknowledgement, right? This deserve a moment of acknowledgement because this argument is going on for 2 hours and 47 minutes and 14 seconds, and finally, she half admits that she actually did what JD is telling her she did, which was punching him. But she's of course downplaying it because she just can't take responsibility for anything. But it took freaking almost 3 hours. Wow.
Yes, you did. So you did the right thing, the big thing. You know what? You are
This is exhausting. This is exhausting, man. This is freaking exhausting. We are exhausted. Half of the planet here, like 100 million people, are exhausted by this woman. Oh my God.
admirable. Every single time. What's your excuse when there's not a physical fight? Then what's the excuse there? You're still being admirable, right? Just by running away. And you can sit here and call me names, but you get called a name, and what do? That's the last insult. You're a baby. You're a hypocrite. You don't do anything that you actually do. You expect from people what you can't give them. If they do something, a taste of it to you, you fucking lose it. But yet you dish it out. Give you a Xanax. Just in case you need it.
Look at that. Oh, now it's amazing because I think she already gave him a Xanax, or kind of, maybe before the audio, and now she's giving him another Xanax.
I think it's been worn off, maybe.
What are you doing with this?
I'm giving you a Xanax in case you need it.
Okay.
Seems like it's worn off.
Yeah, probably.
You know, I'm not an expert, but I think I think probably, you know, he suffers from anxiety, and probably going through this kind of argument, this much stress or whatever. Of course, he self-medicates smoking weed, so to chill him out probably. But I don't know if there is any doctor here in the chat, but I was just wondering, he's taking Xanax to calm down, and then she's saying like, okay, I think it's wearing off. I wonder if she's seeing that he's starting to pacing around, or like getting sweaty hands or sweaty forehead because perhaps he gets a panic attack. You know, he starts to feel anxiety coming back, and immediately she kind of, she hints at suggesting him to take another pill. To me, it doesn't look like a very good thing to do, but I just had this idea, this perception, like this thing coming to me, that he might actually, it's not so much about him becoming explosive or angry. I don't think so. I think most likely it's because he gets anxiety, like this guy is the typical guy that he absorbs so much, that he takes in so much, that then expresses itself through a panic attack or anxiety that builds up into a panic attack. So if there is any doctor in the chat, that would be interesting to know if I'm totally off or I'm seeing this right. Thank you so much, K-Brag, for the super chat.
I love you, and I've told you a million times in this conversation how much I love you. I do love you. And I've fought for this marriage and fought for you. And if you don't do the same, how I ever fucking feel okay. I got married to you for the sweet foundation. So we start a foundation. Not so that it could be transient thing we throw around at each other, I run away from. But I haven't even been able to have like a fight with you beyond in any real talking kind of speaking context. And so
thank you, Akasha, for the super chat. And I do get that. I have that idea also that she's trying to control him through the Xanax, which is another actually interesting point of this whole argument, that it's surfacing it, because and again, to my point that I made before, this could have been quite dangerous. Really. I'm really glad JD is still alive. I really am.
Because anytime anything goes wrong, you split. I feel like it's your first thing. And it's unnecessary. It's not always you're splitting because there's blows or because there's yelling or anything. You split most times when I'm still speaking in this volume and nothing has been thrown or hit or anything. Telling you what I need for this. I want to feel the trust, and I can with you. I know I can. I have felt it with you. But it's been destroyed by constantly being reminded that you take me for granted, or that you don't see this as a permanent thing, for better or for worse. I feel genuinely that you are here in this marriage and committed to this marriage for the better. And really not for the worse. You can't say the same about me. I fight even when I feel terrible. I show up. I pursue. I give you space. I've done everything to really show how committed I am. You know I am. I'm here for God's sakes. No, not when it's tough, not when it's hard, not when it's worse. This is this is the grandest gesture you've shown me in a long time, is by sitting in one place and actually facing some of the stuff we need to talk about.
Jesus Christ, seriously? Like an argument that it's going on for 3 hours? Oh my God.
This is the biggest gesture you've given me in a very long time. It means a lot, of course, but it should be mutual, you know. I know there's things that I need to do different. I want to make you happy as a man. I know I can change certain things that are hurting you. But I can't blame myself entirely for going straight to the fucking face.
I cannot blame myself entirely. When did you start? When did you start doing so? We would like to see that, you know, like we would like to see that behavior actually materializing.
Finish line, the first sign of stress yesterday, because of how it's been lately, like since Australia, and I have been on the road with you. I haven't been working. I don't know what else I could fucking do.
Since Australia, we've been on our honeymoon and we had a great time other than the fact that we had a fight on the train, which was physical.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. You see, and again, this also I missed, but I mean, beautiful in the way that feels like we are watching, you know, feels like we are trying to unravel a thriller. That this is also why this is so engaging. And I'm sorry, sometimes I honestly feel a little bit weird because there's this window opening in the life of those two people and it's for everybody to see. But I'm interested on the human level, and there's so much that you can learn from this, actually, that can be used in the future also as an example. So in that way, I think, you know, there are some good things that can come out of this. But again, so interesting. After Australia, he says, we had the honeymoon. We were in a train. We had a good time. But we argued. We fought. It got physical. And that's most likely he's talking about when they were going towards Asia, I suppose, in the train. And there's this picture that he's like, looks like he was, you know, crashed in the wall of the train or something, you know. So it makes total sense. It's like, it seems like this woman, it's pretty much very frequently violent to this guy, you know. And most likely JD, this just came to me, but I think that JD probably could have had the chance to make way more photography of himself being hurt, but he didn't do it. He didn't do it because despite everything, he was protecting her. And in fact, the picture that sometimes you see are pictures, especially of the train, that they're taking by, you know, other people. It's a coincidence that that picture exists. But most likely, there must have been way more pictures available if he wanted to.
Now we had a fight in San Francisco. But I thought everything else was great. You're saying you've been pondering this since Australia.
No, the splitting thing.
Me splitting.
Like the lack of, you know, I even said this. It was in Australia. I said, I feel like it was so good for so long. We'd talk about things. Remember we were allowed to have fights then. Remember we allowed ourselves to say, hey, you did this, or you took. Remember we would even have a little argument and it was okay. It was an argument. I don't know what the fuck has changed. I can't figure it out. And I don't mean to criticize anything that you do, but it's so chronic with you, the changes and the personality. It's like sometimes you get these clear months and you're this different person and it's wonderful, you're this, and then sometimes I'm like struggling to stay connected with you, struggling to have 5 minutes with you, you know, struggling to connect with you, struggling to have my friendship with you, and I can't fight with you, you know. It's like, but they're so chronic that I have to go, what the fuck has changed? What thing has changed? Do you not remember how different You were so different. You allowed me to.
Man, she's so cheating on him, 100% sure. I'm so sure that this woman is cheating on this guy already by this time so much. I didn't even need to watch the elevator footage or whatever. Like, this argument, what she's saying, where she's going, I'm like, oh, she's cheating on this guy already for a long time.
Present and.
By the way, thank you for the super chat, guys. Thank you to Mona. And Mona, yes, tomorrow I will stream the trial, so I'm getting ready psychologically to do the whole thing together. Of course, I will try, not to disturb the trial, but whenever it's possible to do commentary, I will try, of course. And of course, thank you also for K Bragg. What changed? Yeah, exactly. You cut his finger off.
We were so present, and we were allowed to fight. We were not even fight. We had arguments. You weren't like this, mood swings up, down, like really aggressive and then really cool and calm. I mean, you've given me this time here on the couch, and it's amazing that we can actually talk. But I never feel that safe. I constantly feel like you're about to fucking split, and I don't want to feel like that. You make me feel meaningless.
You threw me out of the bedroom.
Yeah, why wouldn't I if I know that you're about to split? I mean, that's what I'm saying. You always split. You always split, so that's... Why wouldn't... I mean, I do blame myself for my actions yesterday, but I also don't think... I fucked up last night. I'm not going to defend myself.
I fucked up last night. I'm not going to defend myself. Ooh, well, you get very defensive. I mean, this woman makes me want to start smoking again and go buy cigarettes and never come back. Unbelievable.
I also can't blame me going to the finish line when that's always where you drive it,
But you're saying you thought you were sure I was going to split.
Always. I mean, that's just...
Why would I split if I'm laying in the bed with
because
you
any
watching
fight,
television?
anytime I tell you that I'm unhappy with anything, and it's typically the same thing, anytime my voice had complaint, I'm not allowed to have a complaint. I'm not allowed to think anything wrong. I've told you this 1,000 times. 1,000 times I've said this to you, in calm and in fights. Baby, I don't feel like I'm allowed to just have a complaint, and you aren't allowing me the luxury of us just being normal human couples. Like, as soon as you get mad, you take off on a train. Remember, I even asked you, is it about Adderall? Are you doing too much? I know it makes one edgy. It makes one, like, temperamental. Could it be too much? Like, what is it? The alcohol doesn't seem like it. And
he's also trying to squeeze into the audio that he takes other medication. I really think JD probably suffered from also some kind of functional depression or something, because he needs the Xanax to come down, and then he probably needs the Adderall to function when he needs to function, or to try to, because if I'm not mistaken, Adderall, it's like brain enhancing drugs, right? It's like what a lot of students use to sort of push a little bit their focus or whatever.
unless it's like in Toronto where it just became that. But in general, it hasn't been a problem so much. So I don't know what changed. I mean, I'm sure it's something, because it's chemical, it's strong. It's one day you were different.
It's the same.
And it hasn't been back.
It's the same changes that are happening in you. It's exactly the same.
I wish.
Huh?
I really wish that was the case.
That is the case.
I have always allowed you to fuck.
Adderall is for ADHD. Okay, I didn't know JD had ADHD. So he has difficulties focusing, right? He's a little scattered, if I understand correctly.
Up and be a human. I've always been able to have a communication with you. The difference is you make it so we cannot even communicate at all if it's anything negative. You go, you take off on a train, you don't get off. You don't calm down. You don't come back around. You don't honor when you say, I just want a few minutes, or I want a little time, but I'll be back. You don't assuage the...
It's like, honest to God, every time it's just an endless complaint about something that nobody understands. I mean, she talks like, and it's her language. I mean, she goes around and around and around with stuff that you're like, where were we? Actually, how did this start? This is 3 hours in. This is 3 hours in of the same. Those are not different audios. Again, this is the same argument. 3 hours. 3 hours. Lord of the Ring is shorter. I'm just saying.
The anxiety and the stress that gives me and makes things worse with me by saying, hey, we will, remember Kipper was like, you have to say, I will be back in this amount of time, more or less, and then actually honor it. You have to come back. So I said, oh my God, if he could do that, that would be great. And you never do it. You don't ever honor that. You leave me with way more anxiety, stress, anger, and resentment. But in Australia, for a few months, you were so...
So for you, it makes a difference. I wasn't being attacked.
And that. I have not attacked you any different. I haven't changed. I have not attacked you any different.
Oh my God.
I never attacked you. I never attack you. Just because I have a complaint with something you did is not an attack, baby.
It becomes verbally insulting. It becomes
At
all
what
kinds
point?
of shit. It becomes like
At the very beginning.
get-go, yeah.
See, that's the problem. If you see any criticism as a verbal assault, of course we have this problem. We're going to have it next time you do. God forbid I have a problem with something you do. We're going to be in this situation.
Say it
Are you
nice.
ready for it?
Say it nice.
What if I'm hurt? Am I not allowed to be hurt and be human? That's the thing. You're not allowing me to be human then. You take my humanity
You're
from me.
talking
You're
about-
telling me I'm not allowed to feel
You're
things
talking-
and I'm not allowed to react because to protect you.
Last night happened because I was at Isaac's for too long. Next door.
It happened because we could not
And
communicate.
for what? And for what? What did we gain from this fight? From me just, the horrible fucking act of me being over at Isaac's for just too long.
I did not
for you.
cause this because you were at Isaac's. You lie to yourself. Go ahead. You're just lying to
Then
yourself.
why were you upset last night?
This did not happen because of Isaac's. This happened because we're fighting. This is not about Isaac's. We actually haven't really even talked about that. We spent 2 seconds on it because it's not about that. It's bigger than that. The point is I voiced a complaint. It could be anything. It could say, baby, you did something to hurt me. Which you did, and you admitted.
Why didn't you say that?
You admitted that you would feel that way too, and
Yes.
you said sorry for it. That would have been great.
I swear, I have no idea of how Dr. Hughes sat on that stand and just with her face just said that this woman has no issues of any kind whatsoever.
Great, but I could not feel safe saying that to you because I knew that your reaction would very likely be a defensive explosion and an attack and freak out and get up and walk away and all this stuff. So I wanted to avoid it. So I took an Ambien to try and go to sleep without even having to speak to you about
This again we have done in another part of the audio. I didn't know was part of this, but anyway, now we are running and it's extremely interesting to put it into context. But again, you hear like how relentless, just relentless. It's just relentless, and then when he tries to understand what's the point, she makes it another point, and then he tries to follow her, and she moves the thing to another point, and it's just never gonna end. It's never gonna end. And the thing that I find most obvious is that when she tries to insinuate that he does get aggressive, that he does lose his temper, she insinuates like she's trying to gaslit him in that way, trying to kind of also have on record. But it's so funny because we literally have hours and hours of communication, and it's very rare that this guy lost his temper, like only that part that she manages to capture probably was the only time she really managed to capture this guy that was upset, in the morning when he's throwing a little bit like cupboards around or whatever. I think he had the finger that hurt. He knew that the mother passed away and all of that, like in a really heightened moment that if you decontextualize, you can give you can give kind of like hair to that kind of narrative, that is violent. But in the context of the overall, like, you just realize that's one of the few times where he's just taking it out on some cabinets and some glasses, and yet even there he just removes himself from the circumstance, never attacks her, even though she's trying to taunt him and get a reaction from him. It's like, she says this guy is always flying off the handle, but in fact there is like countless hour of actually proving the opposite.
About it because I was really hurt that you fucking left me stranded, you didn't think about me, you didn't text me, all the things that you apologized for. You already apologized for it. Can you do me one small favor and not take it back? Thank you. Stop defending it, please. You already apologized for it. It meant a lot to me. Do me one favor today. Don't take that back.
And what did I do say?
This isn't about Isaac, and you know it. This isn't about Isaac, and you know it.
This is not
It's
about Isaac.
us not allowing.
Is it about my showering?
No, it's about you not allowing me.
It's about you not allowing me of being in this center of the whirlpool of the managing direction of yesterday, when I just find out that the upside down was in fact a little bit more on the right, and as I was walking down with my shoes and I saw a cup just lying there like blowing in the wind, I thought, wow, yes, I'm gonna take a Uber because you are untrustworthy. And as I was just ordering my French fries, I saw glasses, and then I thought red, yes, it's my favorite color, and now I have to walk up the stairs because the elevator doesn't work. But who cares when I just have suitcases that I can fill with the stuff that I forgot yesterday in the train, because who knows, perhaps I will need it tomorrow. And I know that I remember that my father told me when I was a child that I needed to be with the man that could just stand his ground, because I know that red is my favorite color.
Have any problems with you or be upset at you or mad at you or even hurt by you at all. You do not allow it.
Oh my God.
If you could have just said it in a kinder way, a nicer way, like, listen, I feel fucked up by what you fucking just did.
You wouldn't freak out.
No, I would say, fucking, what is it? Like what? And I've been too long at Isaac's. You said you wouldn't be that long or whatever. You shouldn't. I feel stranded. I felt fucking left. Whatever. I'm not, what am I gonna fight with that? Why would I get mad at that?
Oh my God, the first thing you do is I don't have to text you and all, I mean
Oh
it would
my
just
God.
it would be shitty, it would be a fight, it would be terrible, it would not be.
It was a fight.
Yeah, it was.
It was a fight.
And
It shouldn't have been. Some the Isaac thing was the impetus because you were that was a lot of what you said.
it was the impetus, but it's just a small example of a bigger thing, and you know it's bigger.
Okay, so it's a bigger thing. It's coming from back in Australia.
Oh, guys, I'm glad I'm glad I made you laugh a little bit, just to lighten up a little bit this whole thing.
It's like Australia, we are allowed to have fights. You can't sit here and tell me I can't feel things and I can't voice them to you. If we say to each other, you can't get mad and you can't be hurt by the other, then we're living in fucking motherfucking fairy tale land.
Look, then what? Of course, nobody is able to and shouldn't hold shit in.
All right, Halloween 24/7. I will check this out tomorrow, actually. Thank you for already, I don't know if it was always you pointing this out. I will check Steve and Jason YouTube channel. Actually, if you can leave it somewhere in a comment, I'll make sure to go there. This is interesting. Those account that there's, I think there will be more account probably coming out because, like, people don't feel safe to come out. And now it's so obvious who is the bully that I think that also people surrounding, in the surrounding and, from the past, they're kind of, okay, now they get the courage to come forth, because it's becoming just too obvious. It's just becoming too obvious. The only thing I just hope is that, that this doesn't harm her in a way that, I don't want to see nobody getting harmed for real. You know what I mean? Like, to have this much hatred from around the world on just one person, it's never something that you want to see. But definitely this person is very difficult to love. It's very difficult to like. So, and I don't know if she's this square, like so incredibly self-absorbed in her own delusion. I just hope that perhaps this whole like magnifying glass that the word it's having on her perhaps wakes her up, Maybe it wakes her up. She wakes up from this freaking delusion, Does something about it. Oh, there is definitely no post-traumatic stress disorder in this woman, for sure.
And then we can assess how you feel.
She gave me one.
Oh shit, I see what you mean. I see what you mean, I get it. Or fucking, I don't understand what you're saying, and you're wrong, and you're whatever.
But it's going to be the latter, and it's been the latter for months now, where that's your reaction, is not ever admitting wrong, ever doing anything wrong, ever admitting it. You always go straight to you're wrong, fuck you kind of thing. You don't say fuck you all the time right away, but I'm saying
always.
Like for months now, it's been I can't voice any complaint. I can't say I'm feel fucked over. I can't say I'm hurt. I can't say you fucked up. I can't be mad at you. I can't be hurt. Nothing. Because I'm the bad guy. Oh, well, I'm always fucking up, and, like, you're always on me, and I'm always fucking up, and, like, getting mad at me for being honest with you. We've had a million fights where I'm like, I was honest with you. I told you how I felt. If you were me, wouldn't you feel bad? Yeah. Okay, well, then, the fuck?
Lady, you live in a freaking penthouse on an Art Deco building, probably one of the most beautiful Art Deco building in a city. You own the entire freaking top floor of 5 penthouses rent-free, with food, with accommodations, with amenity, all kinds of nicery, like with the wine cellar that it's expensive, with security 24/7. This freaking guy is flying you in a private jet on a freaking private island. He even got you a blockbuster movie role in a big franchise that you're screwing up. What do you want from this guy? What exactly do you want from this freaking guy? Oh, gee, man.
We had these few months where we actually could even feel things and fight, and it was an argument. But you don't ever it's like I don't know what's changed, but it's like you can't ever just make it short and get over it. You can't. It's like you get on something and you will not get off of it. Hence why I'm always going to you in fights for hours, trying to get you to calm down. Please, can we talk? Please, because I don't want to go to bed that way. And you told me you didn't want to go to bed that way either. Yet you want to fucking do this all night long and make it an all-night thing by disappearing for hours at a time. And then when I come to you, I'm the bad guy. I feel fucking alone. I feel like you're not fucking helping. You're not fucking doing anything in fights. You're not overcoming yourself. You're not overcoming yourself. It's every one of these fights could have been so short. Why aren't you doing some of the work? Why aren't you coming to me and saying, look, olive branch? Why aren't you saying, I'm sorry, bigger picture, let's look at the bigger picture? Why aren't you doing...
Lady, I would have honestly left you on the wrong island if it was up to me.
...any of this stuff? Have you noticed that you're not?
Do you remember thanking me for doing that, actually, recently? Thank you for being the bigger person. Thank you for coming and apologizing to me.
When? I'm sorry, when?
Honeymoon for Venice.
there's an example. I don't remember which one it is, but
I'm really sorry. I don't remember exactly.
no. I wasn't questioning you. I'm sure it
You're
happened.
saying
I'm
you-
just,
you-
I just don't remember that one time. But I'm saying the majority of the times. And if you want to argue with that, then we'll never see eye to eye. I think you and I both know the truth. The majority of times, you cannot calm yourself, and it's me trying. Whether I'm hurt, whether I'm mad, whether you've just told me you hate me in my eyes, I'm the one trying to get you to calm down, trying to get an olive branch, trying to not make it an all-night thing, trying to get over it, trying to see the bigger picture. Even if I'm hurt, I'm still trying to do that because I see the bigger picture. You lose the bigger picture every time. And if you want to stay married to me, we need to figure out if you think you can. If you're going to lose sight of the bigger picture and only be my husband when it's easy, you're only going to be there for the ups, never the downs. You're only going to be there for health, not sickness. Every time it gets hard, you lose the big picture and you can't.
I don't think she even likes him, honestly. I don't even think she likes him anymore. I honest to God, I don't think she likes him. And I can understand if you have some kind of, mental disorder. I can understand that probably can be confusing also for you to grasp your feelings, your emotions. But I really cannot tell, what it's what. Like, I would hope that there is a way to do something, but you don't know. I just don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know if she's just this character that it's just pointless, to try to improve. She's just going to make a mess somewhere else. Remember, maybe she agrees now and then she's going to make a mess around something else later on. I don't know.
Think about anything else but breaking up, divorce, fighting, splitting, running away. If you can't be the one to come around sometimes and see the bigger picture and know that it's not worth fighting for days, if you can't do that too, we need to walk away. I don't want to walk away. I don't want to end this.
Do you not think you instigate?
Actually, I think we've seen also yesterday, I think, in another point in the conversation, I really think that she's kind of like blaming it on him that she wants to divorce, basically.
I'm not talking about instigating, I'm talking about ending.
But ending, you don't.
I'm talking about ending.
Yeah, but you don't always do that. You don't always.
I remember you
What
pointed
you
out
do
an
is
example, and
in
I
the
said,
morning
okay,
you
then
say,
can we
"I'm
settle
sorry."
on the fullest? No, I do it at night. I do it at night. I come, whether it's night or day, I've done both. I've come to you every single time. On the plane I came to you, on the Venice I came to you, in Toronto I came to you, in San Francisco I came back to you. I pull you into the bed or I hug you and I get us to calm down, and I'm glad I do because that's what makes it not be an all-night thing. And nothing harms our marriage more than sleeping in different beds because we're mad at each other or going to bed mad at each other. We made a promise. You didn't keep that promise, but we did make a promise to not do that. It was your choice not to live up to that promise, not mine. I tried to get you to come to bed when you were mad. I tried to get you to calm down so many times in Toronto. Toronto, in Venice, and in San Francisco. I would come to the 7 different bathrooms.
I love it. I love, my point exactly before. She's talking about all those arguments, like in Toronto, in Venice, in San Francisco. We had an argument because the batter did not arrive in time, and that really upset me very much because the baguette had just arrived the day later. And I was already in Frankfurt, and therefore I wasn't in the mood for baguette any longer. How dare them not to batter me on my way there? Why? Why so cruel, this word?
You were, and try throughout, whether I was mad or hurt or not, because I saw the bigger picture. I didn't think it was worth this. I'm always the one trying to end it. You never let go of things. You constantly do this.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
You're never the one coming to me and saying, let's not fight anymore. You're never the one saying, come just get into bed, let's not go to bed mad like that. On the plane, it was me. In Toronto, it was me. It's always me.
On the plane here from Rio,
You don't admit it.
you were
Think
losing
about it.
your marbles.
Think about it.
I'm the one who came to you and said, listen, calm down, please calm down. And you were blaming me.
Think about it.
Because your flight was going to get in late and you wouldn't be able to
Think about it.
have time.
She was literally blaming him for the flight being late.
What do you think?
Just think about it.
No.
Majority of our fights.
No, absolutely. Okay, I'll admit that. Yeah, the majority of our fights, I hang on to it because it's fucking hard to let go. Some of the shit that you go through in a fight can be painful, and it's hard to forget shit.
Yeah, no shit. But if you want to keep doing this and live a life where you constantly are using that as ammunition, which you can shoot yourself in the fucking head with, fine, okay. But at least admit you're doing that. If you want to hold on to everything and never get over it and never let go, then don't scratch your head and go, I wonder why I'm so aggressive when you point out anything I did wrong. I wonder why I have so much resentment for you. I wonder why we fight so much. Stop scratching your head and wonder, and just admit it's because you never let a fucking thing go. You can't get over anything, and that you won't and cannot calm yourself down when you're mad.
I think it's very interesting, this part, because again, what you hear, it's actually means absolutely something else, or what it suggests, or what she hopes that would suggest by listening to this audio. Most likely, JD really gets hurt by those arguments, and he has difficulties to let go because he's trying to process those arguments. That's what happens. You know, you get like thrown into an argument, and maybe words or whatever are thrown around, and that causes hurt. And I think what he means is, I hang on to it because he's literally trying to think about it and solve it, elaborate on it, and that's painful and that's hard, and he's really trying to do the work, which she's not, because she's just jumping from one fight to the next fight, and she makes it sound like the other way around, like he's the one that doesn't manage to forgive. He's processing what happened. And when you are through all that much madness, I have no difficulty believing that he has a hard time letting go or just solve the pain that the argument causes.
So it's all my fault.
No. It's not. It's not.
Yet you can sit here and find blame in everything that I do. But you never say a thing about yourself.
I think I've included myself.
You copped it last night.
I have included myself. I mean, like, it's not all your fault. It's not all your fault. I make so many mistakes. What I'm talking about, I'm not guilty of. I do let things go. I move this relationship forward. I fight for us when it's on the line. I do let things go. I see the bigger picture.
You said
I'm tired.
You said I'm tired too. You said you see the bigger picture and you do let things go. Yes. After Toronto, you were looking for apartments.
That was a hard one. And I did not say 100% of the time. In no part of this conversation did I say I am perfect. I did not claim that. I'm claiming that vast majority of times these are the patterns, and I own them. I'm right. You know it. You don't have to admit it, but you know what I'm saying is true. I'm able to see the bigger picture throughout. Whether I'm mad or hurt, I do mean for better or for worse. I have honored my word to not leave. You ditched me last night, and I understand. I understand how shitty that got, and I understand my part in it. But it is a reaction to this fucking situation we've created. It's about to crack, and I'm trying. I can't be the one.
She wants to split. That's what. Actually, she wants to split.
It makes me unhappy. It makes me resent it. And then that's the trust I'm talking about.
Like I said, the last thing in the world I want is for you to get happy or for me to let you down.
I know.
I do.
if you can't,
I can make you unhappy and they do let you down.
only you know if you can change it or do better. I know you're not perfect. I've seen you be pretty damn close. I've seen you do better than this. I've seen you control yourself more. I've seen you react less. I've seen you be less. I've seen you have way more control over yourself. So fucking edgy, and you get so mad so fast, and you stay mad. I've seen this happen before, and I've also seen you better.
None of us has seen that though. Like, if you could provide us with some of those evidence, that would be very nice. Because so far, we haven't seen that.
I've seen you clearer. I've seen you better. I've seen you do better, and you don't let me down. And I subsequently would do better and let you down less. I hope. But I'm not changing how I do things. You're changing how you do things. This is dramatic change. And it's been a few months now, and I'm begging you. Now is the time. If you choose to stop it, fucking great. I'll be with you to change. But I can't set myself up to be the only one to keep promises and then wind up in another situation like Toronto, where you're booking a room or trying to get me on a flight, or I'm not saying any of the things, and I'm hearing all this shit, and I'm not defending myself, and I'm coming to you saying I love you, and I'm trying to protect you from yourself, and I get destroyed. I can't do it again. I won't ever survive through that again. And I don't want to. You made me unhappy.
I don't want to. I don't want you to.
When you leave me like
I
that,
don't want to be unhappy.
instead of just like
And it's so amazing because, again, you see, like, she gave, like, 20 minutes ago, she gave him, like, another Xanax, and you see that JD starts to slow down. You know, slow down in the reaction. She talks more quietly, like gaslighting him, like, to you know, the end of the word and back. And to my understanding, I think probably this whole Toronto thing is that things got a little bit violent, and he just, you know, as usual, was trying to diffuse the situation, move somewhere else, or just book another room in an hotel because he just didn't want to deal with that energy or something. And she's not having it, you know? She's not having it. And maybe he was like, okay, I'm going to just send you back, you know, take the plane, go back, and we'll figure it out later. And she's not having that, of course, right? So I think this is what I understand of this argument there. Yeah.
can't leave the house.
You're saying to me that for a long time I was able to keep everything together, and when we fought,
Do you remember?
like, be cool. Yeah, exactly. And it was for a while. Right?
Yeah, it was.
So-
and we could have arguments. It was like, okay, normal. Now
Right.
we can't have an argument. No,
Right. But
Mo, I agree. Thank you for the super chat. She's definitely not talking about Australia because she knows damn well. She knows really well what she did there. That's why. She's, because there's no way. She's also smart because I think if she brings that up, we've seen that before. How quickly also she got angry actually, you know. And she's smart. She's not going there. Not on audio, because she knows really well that also JD knows well, and she's not going there.
there was one or two in Australia when I was calm-headed and all that shit. That, I mean, what am I reacting to? If I'm trying to keep a cool head, I'm reacting to you fucking jumping.
No, before a jump. Just a normal argument, baby. There's a difference. There is a middle ground.
But there
Sometimes
is,
you
but
just go, that was rude, or you snap, and you say, baby,
You tend
don't
to
snap.
jump. You tend to jump.
Okay, alright. This is before the jump. This is like a normal, fuck man, that really fucking sucks. Like, I matter too, or whatever it is. And it's not.
You think you don't matter?
That's not the point. It's an example.
Sorry.
There are times when you can make, for months now, consistently. You have been. I've told you a million.
I'm like I said before. I honestly think that this woman, if she was actually with an aggressive guy, would have ended badly. Really, would have ended badly. I think they would have hurt each other to the point of, like, somebody dying. So in a way, it's good that she hasn't met that type of person. That's really good for the both of them, because I don't think this woman, she gets really a slap and she keeps it. I think it's gonna escalate even worse. It's gonna probably give space to that rage to just go freely and to even enhance that rage that she has. So I don't think it's actually good. It's actually good that she finds somebody that is mellow as JD, because this could have ended in tragedy already long time ago.
I've actually told you probably about 5 times. I can't have a normal complaint. I can't have a normal complaint. I can't have any problems with you. Baby, I feel like I can't tell you anything's wrong. Baby, I feel like I can't be honest with you. Baby, you gotta relax a little. What the fuck? I gotta be able to tell you if something's wrong. How many times have you heard me say that? I have told you this. I've also mentioned how different it was in Australia and begged for whatever that. Is it clarity? Is it less Adderall? I don't know. Is it work? Is it, something's affecting you, and I am not judging you. I'm not. In fact, you have elucidated my opinion on medication. Do I not give you your meds every day? Do I not remind you to take them? Do I not? I know that you have to take medication. I am very.
We know that he has to take medication. It seems like that you give him medication to control him.
Very aware of that. And you have actually changed my mind a bit as to how necessary they can be. I used to kind of think that they were not superfluous, but I don't know, just like
An escape.
Yeah, and now I don't think that, and that's because of you. You changed my opinion about that. But I do know you. And you don't know moderation very well. You're allergic to moderation. So I balance you out, I think, a little bit. I try to keep you safe. I try to keep on you a little bit to remind you to take the good ones, Do I not?
You do.
And do I ever give you a hard time?
You just look at, no, about the meds, no. You spoil me. Look, you do all those wonderful things. You take your boots off.
I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm still on medication.
I'm not saying you're tooting your own horn. I'm saying there are a lot.
You see that this is another, sorry if I interrupt, but this is another part where you see that JD is telling the truth, like he has testified on stand that in the beginning she was so sweet that every time he came back from work, she would take his boots off and give him a drink, like something that he had never seen in his life done by anybody. And you see in this audio that the conversation is flowing naturally and freely, and he mentions that in this conversation of that time, So, and it validates what he was saying, because he's telling her like what he appreciated about the beginning. He's telling her actually like something that she almost never does, or maybe just to kind of calm him down or to deflect some heat or whatever. But he's also taking the time to tell her like the things that he appreciates about her all the time,
Of beautiful and wonderful things that you do for me that I've never even dreamt that someone would be so fucking caring as to, hey babe, it's time for your meds, and it's so beautiful that your wife is doing that. It's beautiful.
Thank you, Nikki, for the super chat.
The act of just simply taking my fucking boots off when I get home from work. That is.
So tomorrow it's 9 o'clock starts 1 hour earlier, right? So instead of 4 o'clock here, should be like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I understand that correctly.
It's monumental stuff to me. You know, the care throughout the day. You know, here, drink this vitamin water. You know, I mean, there are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful things that I could go on and on about you, about us, about how you've made me feel, how you've like changed my life. You know, but I do not want to be. I don't want to be a
Thank you
fucking
for
shithead in your eyes.
Thank you for saying
That's true, man. It's true.
that. Thank you.
There are a lot of things.
I
There are
know.
a lot of positives.
You don't have to.
There are a lot of positives. I'm not just saying it. I'm being honest.
Wow.
I feel the same way. I meant it.
What?
I meant it. What I said earlier. If you were not my favorite person, it'd be so easy to walk away. For you too, I'm sure. You know.
Oh, like she cannot give a compliment to this guy. Just read that, you know, just read that. She just can't give a full compliment to this guy.
If you, God, I mean, think about all the times it would have been very easy to walk, based on the bad, on the stress, on the fight. But I can't because you're my favorite person, the most beautiful, dynamic, shiny, smart, sexy thing. I can't. It's something you fight for. But I'm trying. I just want to feel safe again. I want the stability. I mean, you meant marriage for life, right? You meant like better and worse and all that stuff, even though we didn't say those
Sorry
words.
guys, the camera turned off.
We did.
Better or worse, we didn't say. But, oh, maybe,
Whitney said better or worse.
she did?
Yeah.
Well then,
But it is for better or for worse for me.
I-
It is.
I feel
I didn't leave last night.
you're
because
making me feel like it's like not, like you're not there for work.
I left last night, honestly, I swear to you. Because I just couldn't take the idea of more physicality, more physical abuse on each other. Because had we continued, it would
I
have gotten
know.
fucking bad. And baby, I told you this once. I'm scared to death. We are a fucking crime scene.
I know.
If we don't get our shit together. And that, by getting our shit together.
Like literally JD is saying exactly the same thing. We are a crime scene if we don't get our stuff together, you know? Like he's aware of this. He's totally aware of this. And luckily he's aware of this, and that's why it didn't escalate to that point. But after 3 hours and 20 minutes that this argument goes on, then you start really to question like reality, you know, like literally this is part of the same argument. Who can be just going on for this long?
That might mean fucking A, we do this and we make it. That might mean, goddamn, you know, you say, I've tried, done, toodaloo. But we've got to get our shit together as individuals and as a couple. Because I love you. And I do not want to leave you. I do not want a divorce. I do not want you out of my life. I just want peace. And if I'm the culprit, majority of the time, I will recognize when I'm fucking starting to go sideways. I will recognize it. But please do the same. Please do the same.
Wow.
And it's
Wow.
okay to fight, like you said. It's okay.
You gotta. How do you remember that? I mean, how do you know that? Because sometimes you're so clear as to what is priority to you and what you care about, and then you seem to forget it when you get mad.
I could say the same thing about you.
Sure,
Angel.
sure. But I'm asking you, like, what do you do to remind, like, how, if it was just up to self-control, don't you think we would have?
That's why I
Used
think
it.
the list is important.
Can you imagine that the guy is literally agreeing with everything and even pleading to her, like pleading like, I'll do anything in my power to try to make this work, you know, to talk it through, whatever, to recognize when perhaps I self-indulge too much, because that's how I read this, you know, like I think every time we are referring to JD, like, you know, getting mad or whatever, I think has to do more with him perhaps indulging too much, either on, you know, self-medication or that kind of stuff. I don't believe for a second about violence. But the guy is right there, pretty conscious, despite having taken given he was given another Xanax, and it's making pretty clear sense, and is just asking her to do the same. It's like he's promising, like, I'll do everything I can, really, to recognize where I go off, what I do wrong, whatever I do to trigger you. That's how I read this. But please do the same. Please do the same. And instead of responding and saying, yes, okay, let's do that, she is basically throwing it back at him, blaming him a little bit more, which it's just astounding to me. You know, like there is no end. There's just no end to this.
Yeah.
I want your two lists.
I want a
One-
list though of what.
One, here are things that you do that can hurt me or fuck with me or makes me mad or this or that. And, you know, and we take it without freaking out. Just take it and own it and study it. And if we have a different opinion, let's talk it out a little bit. Let's talk it out a little bit.
Yeah, that's
And
what you do.
I'll make a fucking list, you make a fucking list of all the things that you think you do that you'd like to change. The things that I do that I'd like to change. In fact, that's the first list we should write.
Yeah, I was gonna say this. The first list that you mentioned, it just. Someone once said to me, as soon as you start listing what you don't like about the other, you know, the relationship's over. Well, they kind of said it as a aside. They were like, well, you know, that's how you know that when a couple starts doing that. That's how you
Write
know
me
it's
a
over.
letter, put it in an envelope every morning if you want. Or on a little notebook.
What?
Simple.
What you do wrong? It's terrible.
No. Please don't. Please love
Hey, thank you, Tammy, for the super chat. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that, and thank you for the nice message.
me today. Please don't hurt me today. Please don't get crazy today.
But then what happens if one of us gets hurt or mad? Because that's life. It will come up. If we don't do things differently, I want a list of things that we don't do. I can't keep throwing our relationship in the air every time we get mad, because all bets are off every time the blood pressure goes up a certain amount.
These don't have to be followed through with. These are just things that I suggest because you fuck some cock says it. Well, as soon as you make a list, it's like, fuck that.
I don't know. It just made sense, but I'll do it.
I don't
It just,
look. It doesn't
just
have
seems
to be
terrible.
gross. It just you know, you've just. I mean, I don't need a list. You just went through the majority. And I went through a Bottom line. But and you don't have to make the other fucking list. I'll make the other list.
No, I'm not saying I don't want to make that list. I agree about that one. I just want to know what we're going to do differently and how to help check each other on what the other one needs so that it doesn't get to this point. I can't keep living.
What the other one needs. Translation. What I need. What I need all the time.
Like this.
Oh, I can't keep living like this either.
Then
You-
something
I've
has
got
to
less-
change.
I've got less time on the fucking planet than you. I'm not gonna spend the rest of my life fucking
Something's got to change.
fighting and being a drag to someone that I fucking adore. I'm not gonna live my life like that, man. The rest of my fucking days, but you know, fuck what I got. No, it's not, you know, fucking month, fucking 2 weeks, goddamn 30 years. I don't fucking know, but life is short, precious. I don't want to fuck up yours. You know, I don't want you to fuck up mine.
Then you wonder why guys play PlayStation. No freak. Then you wonder why guys are just go in their cave and play 4 hours video games.
But I need more understanding from both of us.
That sounds very good, and I agree. But what about what are we
In the moment.
what are we going to do different in the moment when you're mad and you go fuck it and
In the
you
moment.
decide all bets are off?
In the moment. Well, look what I did in Australia. Look what I accomplished. I put the fucker away. I told myself every fucking day, no, he's gone. No, he's fucking putting away. Put him away. And by a list of the things that I feel that fuck you over or make you feel shitty or anything like that, I fucking, when we're in the moment, I remember it. I remember what I put on my list. I remember it. And I try to bring it down notches, many notches. I'll try to, if we're heightened, to say, please, I don't want you to feel this. I don't want to feel this.
I need to know what we need to do different. I need to
It's
know.
got to be done with your mind and your heart.
What do we do different if I have a problem? You
Tell
need
me.
to tell me how to tell you different if I'm hurting you. You need to let me be able to be mad. Sometimes you're going to make me mad. I'm a human. I cannot live where it's like,
Well, then it's the same thing goes for me. Then you're gonna have to allow me to get mad.
yes, exactly. If
Okay,
I do
but
something
get
that makes
mad
you
and then you
mad,
start fucking yelling.
I don't have to start yelling. I think I start yelling once it gets fucking heightened. I've gotten a lot better about that. It's just I only start yelling.
I've gotten a lot better about that. About yelling. Oh man, it's all so much in the open. It's quite hilarious, you know, like to listen to this.
Yelling when it's fucking hour 11 and we're really in it.
I get out of them better about that. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had 3 physical fights in the last month and a half.
I was talking about the yelling.
We have had 3 physical fights in the last month and a half. So pay attention also to the truth of JD, because his volume is a little lower, so maybe some stuff gets lost. And it's reminding her of how many times they got into a fight.
No, but you witnessed it. You're the one that brought it up. Australia was fucking great. We just argued. Let's go back there. Let's go back there in our fucking heads and on our hearts. Let's go back there.
Wow.
And no on your
Is
list.
the monster gone? Did you put him away? It's been so, when you get on that train and you get angry, you stay on it for so long and you won't come down, you won't talk to the person
That's
that
not,
is you.
That's not always.
It doesn't have to always be the monster, but what is it? Can you put that away? Can you remember the bigger picture? You don't want to spend your life. I've asked you this so many times in fights. You want to spend your time like this. No, you don't. But I ask you because this is something you're choosing. I'm saying to you, olive branch. And you don't take...
Diane, thank you for the super chat. I actually did cover that part of the audio. I did a few days ago. And I also did one shorter audio where I put together some of the, let's say, escalating moment. I forgot the title. But I put together some of the escalating moment of this argument, and I put that part of the audio in the end. Yeah, that's absolutely incredible. Actually, that audio, really to close the whole argument. Shows also how much she's just derailed and confused and all over the place. They literally organized a meeting with somebody she filed a restraining order against, and then you heard the audio, so you know what happened there.
My olive branches, you made me feel humiliated for offering them. You asked me to stay in Australia. I stayed, and then you walk out on me all the time. You've got to take some olive branches from me. You've got to offer them too. You've got to be bigger than what you feel at that moment. And so do I. So do I. But if I call you on it, will you hear it? Will you call me out on it if I'm doing it?
Oh, yes, I will. Yes, I will. I'll do it in a fucking as peaceful a fucking as calm a manner as I possibly can. I don't want to instigate any fights. I do not want to fight anymore.
Say we're having an argument and you get mad. How can, yes, but say we're having an argument and you get mad. It escalates. How do you talk to the you that's in front of me right now? What do I need to say? What do I need to do? We don't want to spend our life mad like that. Doesn't mean you have to like what I'm saying or doing or vice versa, but can you calm down?
Baby, please don't do it, monster. Please don't. Let's not yell. Please don't yell at me. I'll do the same.
Promise.
What?
You promise.
Yeah. What? Yes. Why would
I
say
just
it
want
like that?
because sometimes you don't keep what you say, and I want this to be different.
Now my words.
No, that's not the case. It's just that sometimes when you get mad, it's like you disconnect from the person that you are right now. And I'm wondering just how to, what's the communication, what's the phone number, for that.
How do I calm you down?
Maybe
Is this, thank you, Akacha, for the super chat. Is this audio from 2019, the audio in San Francisco in the hotel? Or is a new audio? Because that one I've covered already. Maybe I can just take that extract of the audio and repost it just to listen to that or to comment on that. But I did put it in a I think either was in another live or both in a live and into a super cut of those arguments that I made.
say. But remind me, remember what we talked about. Calm, baby, please calm down. Or
the bigger picture.
something that will remind me of this conversation, when I'm upset and I'm feeling like it's pointless,
Never lie.
I don't ever lie. I know you and I see things differently sometimes, but I'm not lying. For someone who, I know that's your deepest fear and that's why it comes up in fights and stuff, but you got a trust issue in general in life. I never fucked you over, and I'm not going to. And anybody who knows me, if they had to list 2 or 3 things about me, adjectives about me,
one of those three would be super honest, straightforward, honest. Everyone else in my life, I know you have trust issues, but you can't let it cloud you knowing me. Please. It comes up a lot. I know you have an issue with it. It's not me. You can trust me. If anything...
Say that to me at the time.
What? Say what?
What you just said.
Yeah.
Say that stuff to me at the time. About stuff before you flip. Off to a movie or I'm off to a movie.
I'm trying. Oh, gee,
I feel like I do, but I guess...
I'm trying to understand what JD is saying. Unfortunately, it's not so clear. Say it to me the same.
Honest, straightforward, honest. Everyone else in my life, I know you have trust issues, but you can't let it cloud you knowing me. Please. It comes up a lot. I know.
Yes, trust issues, because probably you're already cheating on him already, and most likely you're already giving him a lot of insecurities with your behavior. That's how a person becomes more jealous, because he doesn't feel safe in the relationship and he starts to get paranoid because he feels insecure. And you make him more insecure, he starts to get more jealous because he has trust issues that probably developed since he was a child, because the mother was just never complimenting him or praising him, was always basically ganging up on him.
You have an issue with it. It's not me. You can trust me. If anything...
Say that to me at the time.
What? Say what?
What you just said. Say that stuff to me at the time. About stuff before you flip. Off to a movie or I'm off to a movie.
I feel like I do, but I guess I should say it different. I'll find another way. I'll pay attention to how I say it.
Depends. Both pay attention. How we talk to each other. To respect each other.
We're not going to do that all the time. Sometimes we're going to be shitty or whatever now. But we make a promise to each other about the rings and the divorce.
Rings and divorce.
We promise each other. Please, I want so bad to feel like the marriage I
promise you.
worked so hard to make happen. It's like...
Man, I swear to God, that's true, man. Like, that's Wendy, that's an expensive midlife crisis mistake. I totally agree, man. I would have known of so many ways to spend that midlife crisis better, buying, I don't know, buy a couple of vintage Porsches, buy a couple of vintage Ferraris or something, that's a much better ways of expressing the midlife crisis.
meaningful.
Don't talk about making the wedding now. Talk about the 4 years we spent.
Yes, but I have those 4 years no matter what. But I fought for that wedding. And we had that wedding. A beautiful wedding. For what? If we don't... I want to, it means something. That there's some...
It did mean something, and it does mean something. I didn't get married to you to fucking... Just fucking, 17 more fights and it's fucking over with. We got married, I knew the fucking fights were gonna stop, but I thought maybe it would recur.
I wanted the security.
Again, thank you so much for the super chat. I deeply appreciate that. I really appreciate the comment as well.
Back. I freak out. And cannot make normal decisions, calm decisions, or ones from the heart where I'm thinking of you more than me.
I mean, guys, the man literally lost those houses they're speaking from. The man probably made some profit, but from that profit, he probably had to pay her because he was in some financial turmoil. And to my understanding, he bought those 5 penthouses for around 7 million or so, $7 million, 7.5 million, and he sold them for like 11, I think. So now they're all sold. And he literally probably had to sell those freaking houses to give her the 7 million tax free that she got. You know, just let that sink in for a moment.
I feel like you're splitting on me all the time, and the marriage is on the rock. I make the same mistake about throwing our marriage around. I won't do it again. I'm not going to do it again. Okay? I'm not, I promise. But there's something so anxiety provoking and scary and malicious and really just turns everything over when you split all the time. Please, if you really don't want to fight and you're not just trying to hurt me, which sometimes it is that, if you really love me and you do care about this, please find a good way to do it one and respectful. You can tell me that you are. I need to know that we will be able to talk about it, because the problem I have is when we don't communicate. It comes into me, it builds up in me and becomes cancer in me. It got worse every day when we were back from Toronto. It got worse every single day. Not better, worse. Until we spoke about it. Until Whitney's birthday and we talked.
But you know, now, like, sometimes I even doze off myself listening to her, but I tap into the energy of the voice of this whole conversation. I tap into the energy, and what I realized, it's actually that she's, in a strange way, she's crying out for help. She probably doesn't even understand herself, but you understand it in the way that this whole 3.5 hour conversation, almost 4 hour conversation, it's always about him being wrong about something, that he's causing something to her, that she needs something from him to make it better. And then you realize that it's something that it will never happen, because he will never be able to fix this in her, which is probably somehow an intricate way of herself that she has to express this mental disorder, that you know, like some kind of subconscious way of actually telling him, I'm actually sick, you know, I got issues and I don't know what to do, and all I can think of doing is to blame other people for it, and also like expect from other people that they would do something to fix me, you know. But that's never gonna happen. It's just never gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
Then it was okay, but I don't want to resent you.
I resent you. I don't want to not trust.
You know how many times I've chased you out of the elevator in the hall? I gotta stop doing that. I'm not nitpicking. I don't mean to be focusing on something, but if it's a major thing to me, and it is a major
If things get
thing.
physical, we have to separate.
No doubt.
Have to be apart from one another, whether it's for fucking an hour or 10 hours or fucking a day. We must.
Yeah, I did this part.
I agree about the physical violence, but separating for a day or a night and taking a night off from our marriage it just means it opens up.
Listen, I'm just giving you examples. It could be fucking 3 minutes. It could be fucking 2 weeks. I'm just saying.
No, but we need to agree on certain boundaries, so we have boundaries again. We need to make agreements and hold each other accountable to them and ourselves accountable to them, which is why I'm even bringing this up.
This is part of, I think, an hour live that we already did a few days ago, or like a video that I did, that I took this hour leaked audio, but in fact that hour was part of those 4.5 hours. So I think we have gone through this anyway. We can still go. I mean, we are here. We can still go, no problem. But I think maybe even some of you, I don't know, maybe some of you in the chat also probably know this part of the audio.
I'm not,
You know what I mean?
I'm not saying anything negative.
I know.
All I'm saying is we need to take whatever time we need. You need, I need. To kind of let things settle for a minute. So that we don't fucking kill each other or fucking worse, you know, fucking really kill each other or
Yeah.
break up or whatever.
Just don't. I think that
Help me,
I-
God help you.
Help me help you. Wow.
this is the thing that makes me feel unsafe and unstable. To be honest, this is what makes me not trust.
What's that?
It's that there's like,
Walking away, going to a corner.
no loophole. It's like, oh, go and take the time you need, take the time I need. Okay, fine. Every time I get mad at you, I can go split. Except for, oh wait, I don't have my own place to go split to.
No, Amber, stop.
You know, it makes me think I should. It makes me,
I think we have to stop too, honestly, because
you know, I don't have.
we know this part of the audio. We know where she's going. And again, like, it's just interesting because this is literally a 4 hour and 20 minutes audio. And through all of her attacks and ups and downs, we're still at ground zero. We haven't covered any distance. And that really tells you a lot. Despite every attempt of JD of moderating, every attempt of getting through, any attempt of actually finding out where to start to work on these alleged things that they need, that needs work, we are at ground zero. We are back to beginning. It's like we just started. It's powerful for us to sit here for this long, through those audios and realize how long it's taking just to go nowhere. And most likely this is just one day of many days, of many weeks, of many months of this. Can you imagine? I can't imagine. I just can't imagine. If I was this type of person, I would probably leave a message to my girlfriend and say like, hey, listen, just yes, put something in my coffee, all right? I give you permission. Just take me out of my misery, please. Because this is never ending. I mean, the guy with all his might and strength and brain is trying to make this work, but it's just going nowhere. It's going nowhere. What I hope, just for, actually I don't hope that, because otherwise we have to go through that as well. But I feel that now that this is coming to an end, there might be new stuff coming out, more stuff coming out, because people which perhaps they've kept quiet, like they will start to feel like comfortable and share their side of the story, which we are already seeing a little bit in part. So I feel like in the next 2 weeks, we might see something like that. So that could be interesting to see if some other audios pops out and that there is more clarity. I would be absolutely shocked to find out that some of the allegation on JD will be true, because none of the things that we've seen so far really seems to go nearly close in that direction. Actually, the more we go, the more we understand exactly the opposite. This person is truly a person that needs professional help. She needs time. She needs space. She needs medication. She needs therapy, whatever. But she definitely cannot be in a relationship with that type of man. And most likely, it's a relationship probably is not advised, because those issues are just coming back and repeating the same loops, like the way she repeats the same pattern of thinking It's never ending. It's maddening. I feel like I've lost part of my senses. You know, I'm looking at the wall and I'm just questioning myself if I can walk through it or not. You know, like that's how I feel after 4 hours of this audio. And I'm thinking, those guys, they argued for 5 hours, and I'm thinking there are so many better ways of spending 5 hours, like waiting for the first night bus under the rain while you're drunk and you need to go home. That's much better spent time, if you ask me, than doing this. All right? So, wow. I need a sip of water. Oh, gosh. Oh, man. So, guys, all right. I think it's good to stop. It's also getting late here in Amsterdam, and again, I just want to thank you for the super chat, for the chat, for being so many in the chat, man. 3,000 people. That's just amazing. That's really awesome. I enjoyed seeing so many of you from everywhere. We had a little bit of fun, and I'm happy we could have also a little bit of fun with this every now and then. Tomorrow I'll be ready. I'll be ready at 3 o'clock here, Amsterdam time. So we're gonna do the whole week. So we have we have time and videos to go through. And I just want to thank you again. I wish you a lovely evening anywhere you are. Always spread love, and please, don't argue for 5 hours. Seriously, make ice creams or do something else. I don't know. Just seek worms in the garden. I mean, all those activities are so much better than arguing like this. All right, guys. Truly a pleasure to be with you. I'll see you tomorrow. Always spread love. Ciao, ciao, guys. Take good